Hello and welcome to Snow Ops Live. If you're joining us for today's episode, excited to have Nick Klotz here on stage with us. He is with EPM here in Jackson, Michigan. We're really excited to be having you join us on Podcast Central here at the Snow and Ice Symposium. Nick is president at EPM, and I'll give him an opportunity to introduce himself.
Well, good afternoon, Evan. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite and looking forward to it. I'm Nick with EPM. We're based out of Jackson, Michigan, about a half hour south of Lansing, about 45 minutes west of Detroit. A nice little town where we call home and do the fun work of snow removal.
So, how long have you been in the snow removal business, and what's your favorite thing about it?
EPM's 15 years old this year. I've been in and around snow removal probably about 8-10 years old. Run a plow truck before I legally could. Somebody move it to the lot and toss me in the driver's seat. They go shovel, I think, just so I could learn. My favorite thing about it is just the immediate gratification of seeing the end work, seeing what's accomplished from a hard night's work from a group of guys. And then I've heard it said several times, and I've kind of adopted it. We're the first responders of the first responders.
Yeah.
So it's great to keep the public safe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's one thing we learn at the SIMA show every year is that folks come here to be recognized, to see new equipment, to engage with their peers because it's an often overlooked industry in a lot of ways. What do you like most about attending the show every year, and why do you prioritize it in your schedule?
Well, you guys get a couple free drink tickets with a full registration, right?
Yeah.
My favorite thing about the show is probably the networking, the education. The trade show is great. I think many guys prioritize the trade show over the education. There's so much to be had in the networking and the education. I've made some great friends, some great alliances, and the tidbits of information and guys that I can call on the fly with a quick question, it's invaluable. To prioritize the week to come here, you can't make a better decision as a business than to take that time to better yourself.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, and I think that it is valuable. I think that networking, asking questions of your peers, that's what we hear. That's what we want people to be able to take advantage of. And then setting in on the education is obviously a key part of it as well. So obviously Grand Rapids is close to Jackson, Michigan. I think you were telling me before an hour and a half from the office and from home, respectively. But what are you liking most about the show this year, outside of its location to your home office, and what could we be doing a little bit more of, to keep people coming back?
I told my wife that it's almost more difficult for me to attend the show and sit in our backyard. I can get a full day's working on Tuesday before I have to come up here Tuesday evening. So I'm a little less focused here than the shows out of town. In regards to what you guys could do better, I think you guys continue to blow it out of the park. There's always new things added, always new speakers added. There's never a consistent rotation of the same speakers every year. So, again, I value the education, value the networking. That's you guys knock it out of the park, and I don't know if you could really do better, though. I'm sure you will.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I think one exciting thing we added last night. I know you said that you had to bus out a few minutes early, like you said, because you've got family nearby, and maybe some a date night with the wife. Which for all those listening, I think it's an important part of this job. Is sometimes we take for granted the loved ones that support us at home, and you were able to spend some time with them. So that's the value of it being close. But we had the trade show after dark last night, and I think that was a nice addition. We've been hearing for years that folks want a little extra time on the trade show floor, and we were able to give it to them. So what do you think of the trade show floor thus far? Are you seeing any tech equipment or things that are standing out to you?
I've got a few checklist items I need to go through. Before we met here, I started kind of wandering through and make my list of who I want to stop and talk to. I'm not the stop at each individual booth on my way by. I kind of map things out. I want to go back to that. I want to go back to that. See some new vendors, see some familiar faces, talk to a few guys that are, current vendors, and prospective vendors. So, the trade show is always great. I don't think you're going to get this much snow and ice specific, vendors in one space, that are willing and open to help in any way they can.
Yeah. So you as a contractor that's been in business for 15 years, obviously there's some familiar faces at the show every year that you probably look forward to seeing. How do you, though, keep coming back and engaging with some of those familiar faces, but how do you find new people to engage with? Because that's a big part of what we do is making sure that we're getting outside our comfort zone, connecting, engaging. So what are your thoughts there? What are some best practices that you see as someone that's been in the business for a while? Maybe take some of those standing relationships, you know, uh, not that you take them for granted, but sometimes, yeah, you're like, hey, we talked last week on LinkedIn or connected. How do you make sure that you're connecting with the right people, engaging with maybe people that are outside your circle, and ensuring that you're staying connected in a meaningful way?
I mean, in regards to how you meet new people, I mean, personally, I'm an introvert through and through. I don't just strike up conversations with random people well. The thing you have to remind yourself in an event like this is people are open and willing to talk. They want to talk to other people about snow because, back where they're from, there's not many guys to talk about with this stuff. So that's why we're here. It's our passion. It's our mission. So really, anybody here is open to talk. If you have a question, they're willing to help. And then just stay in touch. If somebody shares their phone number with you, they shared it with you for a reason. And Billy's sitting right to our right here. I probably call Billy once a month. He probably like, why does this guy keep calling me?
Yeah.
Every time I call, the phone's picked up, and how can I help? Yep, let's do this. Try this. Everybody I've met has been more than willing to help. It's an amazing group of people.
Yeah. I hear that every year. We have people from all over the country, all over Canada, that come and they see us, and they say, "Man, I can't believe that guy's maybe." I heard someone say yesterday, "Hey, that guy's arch enemies with that guy, or arch enemies with that guy, maybe in their backyard, but they come here, they share best practices, they connect, they have that beer together, and they say, hey, maybe we're in each other's backyards, but let's find a way to connect." Or, hey, you're in Michigan, I'm in Southeast Ohio, and we aren't competitors, but how can we learn from each other? So I think you're right. Picking up the phone, engaging together. That's a part of the solution that we all need to not take for granted. So put you on the spot here with a question that didn't have on the agenda, but you're an ASM, you're a CSP, you're involved in SIMA. How do you ensure that you stay involved with SIMA outside the show? Because we get a lot of people that come to the event, they get jazzed, they get excited, and then they forget about how to engage maybe after the fact. And that's partially on me. So reach out anytime, evan@sima.org. I'll find ways to plug you in. But how do you find ways to say, hey, how can I plug into my association? Maybe it's not SIMA, maybe it's your local landscape association, or a local or your local snow association, or something of that nature. How do you stay plugged in after the show when people get a ton of value, but maybe aren't staying engaged in other ways?
So at least with the association, I mean, anytime you, Cheryl, anyone sign to send out a request for a board advisory group, something along those lines, I jump in. It's my way of giving back for all the guys around here that have given so much info and help to me. It just helps to be able to, I guess, give back. There's no other way of putting it. Staying plugged into the local associations. Like I've talked about a few times so far, there's so many people that I could pick up the phone and call, and they answer at the drop of a hat. They're willing to give information. Be that person for the smaller guys in your market. You better yourself by coming to this. Better people bring that information back home, and bring that wisdom you gain back home to help. There's enough snow work to go around for every reputable company. If people are asking you questions, it means you're a reputable company, and help them come up through the same path.
Yeah, I was just talking to a young guy yesterday that said, hey, I'd love to go on some more of these facility tours. It's something we do here at the Symposium, as a pre-con. This year we were at DJ's, and people want to see. I mean, it doesn't have to be a big flashy facility. Hey, say, come see how the sausage is made, and develop a relationship with someone that maybe isn't in your backyard and a direct competitor, but someone that you're, that you can say, hey, can be a mentor, a friend, and that's a part of it, is taking those relationships outside the box. And then, as Nick mentioned, it's like, hey, how do we just continue to write for the magazine, get involved and join a podcast, or join one of our advisory committees that ensure that the education is meaningful to snow professionals and is built by snow professionals. That's something we pride ourselves on, is going out to folks like you, Nick, and many others to really stay engaged in that way. So I don't know if you brought any of your team with you, so I don't want to put you on the spot in that way, but why should someone bring their team with them? So a lot of times, we're seeing 4 or 5 reps from a company, or 2 or 3 if it's a smaller company. What's the value in bringing some team members with you if someone's second guessing? Hey, should I just come? Should wife and kids come, or should I bring a couple members of the team?
So I don't actually have anyone with us here this year. I had about 4 that were supposed to be here. We dealt with some rain, and we've got a really busy spring, and they've all kind of backed out on me because we're so close and they didn't hop on a plane. I mean, a few different benefits. We all remember, field trips in elementary school. Field trip was pretty fun, pretty cool, kind of rewarding. So it's a bit of a field trip to walk the show floor for those guys, see the fun tools and trinkets and gadgets that are coming out in the industry. I mean, the other thing is the education and the networking. Again, if you don't pour into your team, someone else will. I had a guy with me in 2 years ago, I believe it was. He thought we were a massive snow company, and his first session he sat in, he got to talking to the guy next to him, and I think they were a $75 million company, something like 150 skid loaders. He walked out of that session, his eyes were like saucers. I didn't know something like that was possible. So just to kind of open their eyes to the possibilities as to what the snow industry is and what the professionalism of it can be.
Right. Thanks, Nick. I really appreciate our time together. If you're listening to this in a few weeks and say, what's SIMA all about? Why should I come to the Snow and Ice Symposium? And why should I invest to coming to Cincinnati next year to see what's going on there? I know that as a Michigan guy, it might be painful for you to cross the state line into Ohio. But what would your advice be to someone thinking, okay, should I try to find some time to come to the 2026 Symposium? What should I expect? What can I expect? What are you kind of thinking? What are you expecting? And why would you say, hey, let's get involved and be engaged in this way?
Well, I mean, first things first, go blue. It's one of those things you have to sense it. You can't pour from an empty cup, so you have to continually fill your cup. And 9 times out of 10, you can't do that in your local market. You can't do that with just reading. You have to get out there and no different than your team getting the work done. You have to put the boots on the ground to learn and see and find new ways of doing things. And events like SIMA are how you do that. The 4 days you lose pay dividends tenfold. So it's a priority for us, as it should be for anyone trying to hold themselves out as a professional snow and ice manager.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Nick. I really appreciate that. And I was actually talking about this concept of pouring into others last night with a few of our attendees at the Canadian reception. I think it's really important to do that when we can, where we can. And ultimately, you're not going to be able to pour into others if you don't pour into yourself a bit. This is a great opportunity to pour into yourself at this show, to say, hey, here's how I lift my team up, lift myself up, lift my company up. So let me say this, no hate. I'm not necessarily a Buckeyes fan, even though I live in Ohio. So, So, and luckily, hey, I'm not sending Nick to Columbus next year. At least he's coming to Cincinnati. Final thing here, again, wasn't on our agenda to talk about today, but Nick's company, EPM, you guys are a year in, year out. You're competing for awards. You're being recognized as the best place to work in snow and ice by SIMA. So tell folks a little bit about that awards process and why you decide to apply into awards. We've been lucky, I guess, while you think about your answer to this. We've been lucky the last few years I've worked here. We've seen the number of folks that apply for those awards continue to increase. We had nearly 50 people applying, but we want to see that number continue to go up with almost 1,200 members in the SIMA membership. Over 2,100 people here at the show this year, over 25,000 subscribers to Snow Business. We know that there's more people to be recognized for the legit, passionate, and important work that they do. So how do people get involved with that process? If people are hesitant about putting their hat in the ring for an awards program, why would you say to invest their time in something like that? Because there is no cost. It's just a way to recognize people who are doing good work.
So we've been best places to work. I think this is our 3rd year. Third year we've applied. 3rd year we've received it. That's voted on by the team. It's an amazing award to get. In my personal opinion, it's the best one we could get of all of you put out, because it's what our team says about us. They think they have a great place to work, and that's amazing. We've also had a team member get the Alan Steinman Scholarship.
Oh, awesome.
That was awesome. I mean, encourage your team to write for that. That's year zero out of pocket, taking a team member to a symposium at that point. It the awards process it can look daunting when you first read the email that comes through. It's painless. You fill out, I think it's maybe 2 pages that are basic yes, no, this, that answers. I think it took me about 25 minutes, half an hour to fill out the first time. And I think now I've got it in a rhythm that I can probably do it in half the time.
I know that for those maybe watching online, we maybe jumped in and jumped out of there. But as Nick was saying, it's a painless process. And it's one of those things that's 25, 30 questions that are ways to rank you, and really it's a rising tide lifts all ships. So it makes us better. And I think actually the fact that we had 50 award applications this year, it helped raise that average and raise that standard. And we had 32 award winners though still. And I think it shows that it's about pouring into your team, pouring in that way. So any final thoughts for those who are able to listen to us here online or will be listening to this recording here in the next couple of weeks?
I mean, if you're not here this year, get here next year. Again, it's invaluable. It's great time, great networking. You make great friends. I think, minute for minute, time invested into this, I've gained more out of SIMA symposiums than any other education book, online articles I've read. So nice industry related.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Nick. And here's the thing. Nick's been a valuable guest because he shared a little bit about his journey through SIMA. But I want to say that here in the coming weeks, I want to find some time to get on Nick's radar for later this year, talk a little bit more about his business journey. So if you like this episode, let us know what questions maybe you have for Nick so we can get him back on the podcast this year to talk a little bit about his business journey, that 15 years in business, as well as the years that maybe you were illegally on the road before then, so that we can understand, what that looks like. I know everyone that listens to our podcast is always eager to learn, how the sausage is made and how you scale up your business. I appreciate everyone that joined in and listened, and I'll give Nick the last word here in case he wants to say anything. Anything else?
No, just thanks for having me on. Got to speak to 2,500 of our closest friends in this big open room here. So great time. Appreciate you having me.